And I'm out here in front of a building here at 1000 Main Avenue. It's a relative nondescript building that you'll see in the new Southwest waterfront. Most people don't know, but this is the headquarters of Washington Gas. And why are we here? Well, first of all, as you know, yesterday, January 15th, was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And as you may know, also know a little bit about my background. My father was an aide to Dr. King the night before he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. And so we are here this morning because people don't understand one of the reasons why DC is the least affordable place to live is because of the people who work in this building, Washington Gas. They have increased the cost of utilities by 13%. Now, that might not seem like a lot of money for you, but for a lot of people, particularly our seniors who are on a fixed income, 13% could represent $13 or $26 or more on their utility bills. And that becomes, again, a crescendo when you have bread at almost $10 a loaf. In fact, they call it a loaf, but it's like a half of loaves. You know, you have also fees that you have to pay for just parking and other costs like rent here in DC. You know, even insurance. If you have a car in DC, DC is one of the most expensive places to insure a car. All of these are issues relating to affordability, and today we are here to basically communicate to the billionaires who own Washington Gas that enough is enough. We're also here to communicate to the members of the DC Council, particularly Council Member Kenyon McDuffie, who was just a minute ago, before he resigned, to try to play musical chairs in terms of changing not only his seat, city council seat, but also his party in order to be able to run for mayor. This guy was responsible for oversight of the billionaire companies that provide utilities. And instead of making sure that the bills were kept low, particularly for our seniors, he is now laughing and giggling and smiling in the background of a Muhammad Ali sticker to try to suggest that he's been fighting for us. If he was fighting for us, then the bills that you and I are paying would not be out of the gazoo. But he doesn't care about us, nor does Council Member Janeeae Lewis care about us. They don't even consider us their constituents. Their true constituents are the billionaires who occupy buildings like this. And this is the reason, the only reason why I'm running for mayor is because we don't have a true fighter like Muhammad Ali fighting against the billionaires. These people want to be billionaires, and so they want to ingratiate themselves to the billionaires. And so instead of listening to the people who are their true bosses, they want to listen to people who don't even live in DC, like the people who own the Washington Commanders and the people who own the Washington Wizards, the people who they've given billions of dollars to, as opposed to investing the money into making sure that things such as utility bills are more affordable. So today, I'm calling on all of you, particularly those of you who live in DC, to say enough is enough. We need to end the high utility bills here in Washington, D.C. And the people in this building at 1000 Main Avenue are responsible. The people who are responsible for being members of the D.C. Council, they are also responsible. And we say today, on the eve of the MLK official holiday, the day after the Martin Luther King Jr.'s actual birthday, that if you truly stand for justice, if you truly stand for what Dr. King believed in, you will join us in this movement. This is a movement to make sure that DC is affordable. This is a movement to make sure DC is safe. This is a movement to make sure that DC finally becomes a state. I mean, how is it that we have more lobbyists? I just saw one of my colleagues who's a lobbyist in a big public relations and government relations firm just a minute ago. How is it that DC has the most influential people in the face of the earth? And yes, we're not a state. How is it that we have all the members of Congress have offices in this city? We have the president in this city, and yet this city remains a district that has the only place in the United States where there's taxation, federal taxes that we pay without representation. How is this? This is insanity. And do you know how much money that the DC government allocates to ending this ridiculous state? You would think that we have a $22 billion budget. Now imagine, we have $22 billion and you are so outraged about the fact that we're not a state. How much money would you, if you were the mayor, or if you were the council, how much money would you allocate to ending this undemocratic state? Would it be, 25% of the budget? Would it be 15% of the budget? Would it be 10% of the budget? Would it at least be 1% of the budget? These people, the DC council and the mayor, they allocate less than 0.01% of the budget to ending this undemocratic state. And if we are to change this once and for all, we have to make a change in terms of our vote. The corporate media right now wants to make this a match between, Twinkle D and Twinkle Dumb. People who are on the DC council, Janeeae Lewis George and Kenyon McDuffie. They want to basically hide that there's actually a candidate who doesn't call themselves a democratic socialist like one of the people calls himself, or a friend of businesses or small businesses like the other person said. This is somebody who actually is a small business owner. This is actually somebody who is committed to making sure that DC is affordable. And that is the person in front of you, Talib Muhammad. I'm an attorney, I'm a lawyer, I'm a technology executive, and more importantly, I'm a committed dad who's been involved with the community here in DC for over 35 years, since I came to DC as an intern to finish my degree at Howard University. In the past 12 years, we've been running a terrific nonprofit organization called STEM for Us that has been working to make sure that our young people have a safe place, particularly after school, to be able to come and get their homework done and then get mentored and even get a hot meal so they don't have to be on the streets. And as you know, the hours between 3 and 6 are some of the most dangerous times in DC because the mothers and fathers are generally working. 2/3 of the population have to work 2 or 3 jobs because DC is so freaking unaffordable. And so they don't have the time to go and can't afford to go and pick their children and make sure that their children are safe after school. So we proposed a program to be able to do that. And for 2 years in a row, the DC Council said no to us, but they found money. They said they didn't have enough money to fund our program. They found $500 million the year before to give to the billionaires who own the Washington Wizards. And then they had found another $1.5 billion to give to the billionaires who own the Washington Commanders. So today, on the eve of Dr. King's official holiday and the day after his actual birthday, we say enough is enough. This is time. It's time now to make DC the most affordable place. Make sure that our rents are frozen. Make sure that small businesses have the money that they need to survive. Make sure that our restaurants are invested in. Make sure that our arts community have the money that they need in order to create and innovate. Make sure that our, in fact, even think about the newspapers. We have, I think, a sister from the Washington Afro-American. We need to invest in our small newspapers and the blogs and the podcasters that are out there. These are the type of monies that we should be investing instead of giving our monies to the people who occupy this building, like the Washington Gas or the Washington Commanders or the Washington Wizards. It's enough is enough. And that's the reason why we're coming to you today. And so if you believe in my mission, I ask you to spread the word about this. If you believe in the mission, I want you to go to our website, Talib for DC, and click on that link button to make a contribution. We have to get at least 1,000 DC voters or DC residents to make a contribution of $40 or $50. Go ahead and make that kind of investment, not in me, because this isn't about me. Make this investment in you. Make this investment in our youth. If we are going to, again, change DC, we have to say that there can be no business as usual. We have to wrap it up. We have to end this dysfunctional relationship that the members of the DC Council, like Kenyon McDuffie and Janeeae Lewis George, seem to look at us. They look at us as they are our bosses, when the reality is that we are the bosses. The taxpayers, the people who pay them, They're the people who should be listening to us, but they don't listen to us. The only people they listen to are the billionaires. I say enough is enough. What do you all say? Is enough for that?
Enough is enough. Yep.
Well, brother, what's your name?
Talib.
What do you think about us being beholden to people who want to give our money away to the billionaires?
I mean, it just continues the system and a cycle of us believing we have hope and believing we're putting money in things that will make true change for us, but it's not. It's consistently giving us the same outcome, and it takes time, but it takes us believing in ourselves and our ability to make that change and invest in the things that will actually do that for us.
Excellent, brother. Kassim, how do you feel about this?
Same thing, my brother, what he said, but now again, I'm going to say enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
That's it.
How about you?
Yes, I'm especially concerned about the senior citizens, that I live in that building also, and we definitely need aid and assistance. Yes.
Enough is enough.
And again, if we don't stand for ourselves, who else is going to stand for us? And like this brother right here, he probably lives in D.C. right now, but he wants us to leave. But this is public property, so we're not leaving here. No, this is right here. This is public property. This is a part of the District of Columbia.
If you go here, then you're not on my jurisdiction.
Okay.
But right here,
I tell you what. So we're gonna stand right here. All right. We're gonna stand right here, so we won't be in this guy's so-called jurisdiction. But one day, even he will understand that in order to be free, you got to stand with us. We're not against law enforcement. We know that we need law enforcement. You know what I mean? We need to have a safe place. But everybody, including law enforcement, has to, at one point and another, say enough is enough. It is time out for the people who are supposed to be representing us, like Kenyon McDuffie and Janeeae Lewis-George. It's enough is enough. It's time out for them giving away our money to the Washington Gas so they can raise the cost of gas. Enough is enough. We need to make D.C. the most affordable place to live, the most safe place to live, and finally make D.C. the most democratic place to live by ending taxation without representation and finally making D.C. the 51st state. That is our plan. Again, we have 150 days until the election. And if you work with us starting today for the next 150 days, we will finally be a place where our test scores, such as math, is not number 49, or reading is number 51, or science is number 50. We will be a place where our children are the best children, are the most intelligent children. We have the workforce, they're the most prepared workforce in the nation. We have the ability to do that. And I believe, and many people don't believe in miracles, but I believe in a miracle. Because standing here right now, I'm coming back. This time last week, I was in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, over 6,000 miles. And before then, I had no clue about being able to be there. But the Almighty sent me there, and He brought me back alive. And to me, that is a miracle. And if you all know anything about Mecca, especially being in the Kaaba, there's about 1 million people rotating around the Kaaba, and just being able to leave there alive is a miracle because people die every day, performing that pilgrimage. And so, because I'm here today, I'm here as a manifestation of a miracle. And so, I do believe that DC can become a state. I do believe DC can become more affordable, and I do believe DC can become safe. Because I believe in miracles. So I'm asking you to join me in believing in a miracle and working with us for the next 150 days. And if you do so, I am absolutely confident that we will become the next mayor of Washington, D.C. We, not me, but we will become the next mayor of Washington. We will make D.C. affordable. We will make D.C. safe. And we will make D.C. prayerfully the 51st state in the United States. I'm Talib Kareem Muhammad, and I approve that message.